All right, friends, another busy weekend of combat sports coming up. No time to waste. Let's start with what I think is the biggest one, Bellator 300. Yes, Bellator celebrating its 300th event. They're back in San Diego. 3 title fights on the card. The most intriguing one for me, Cris Cyborg, arguably the greatest featherweight champion of all time, going up against Zingano. These two have been going back and forth for quite some time. Obviously, Cyborg getting up there in age, but more of a natural 145er than Cat. Cat has looked good in Bellator as of late. A very interesting matchup involving two of the best female fighters in the sport today. So stay tuned for that. That is actually the co-headliner. The main event is Usman Nurmagomedov against Brent Primus. Usman Nurmagomedov might be the best fighter in Bellator right now. He is that darn good. And that's saying a lot considering they have guys like Johnny Eblin and Yaroslav Amosov on the roster as well, among others. But Usman is just so good. Yes, the last name is Nurmagomedov, but unlike the other Nurmagomedov brothers, his striking might be better than his wrestling. And that's very impressive. And I say brothers, I mean the family. They're all brothers, but you get my point. Anyone with the last name Nurmagomedov, the striking is maybe better than the wrestling. Supremely impressive out of Usman Nurmagomedov. Brent Primus, always game, but biting off a lot here in this matchup. The third title fight on the card is Alima Leigh McFarland, the former Bellator women's flyweight champion, going up against her friend, former training partner, the current champion, Liz Carmouche. These two love each other. They're very close. For the longest time, they said, don't want to fight each other, but it's for the belt. It's on a historic card. Alima Leigh, does she have one more run left in her, or can Liz Carmouche continue this renaissance in Bellator at 125? Interesting one of the 3 title fights. That could be one of the closest ones to call, if you ask me, because they know each other so very well. So that's the Bellator story. The UFC story has an intriguing main event in the lightweight division. Bobby King Green coming off his big win over Tony Ferguson against Grant Dawson, who's a rising star at 155 pounds. I think this will be an all-action fight. I think it will be a fun fight involving two of the more exciting fighters in the lightweight division, which is arguably the best weight class in the UFC and maybe the sport right now. So that's a really fun one, but I'm really looking forward to the return of Joe Pyfer. He is a absolute budding superstar in the UFC going up against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. This should be a fun fight, and a fight that I don't know if it goes the distance because these guys hit really hard. Joe Pyfer coming off an injury, but this guy has come off of injuries before. He is not someone to sleep on. So that's the UFC story. And one more thing to shout out, massive boxing match going down over in Sheffield, England. It's the Battle of Britain. It's Nottingham's own Lee Wood going up against Josh Warrington. These two have been circling each other for a while. There's some bad blood there. It's a turf war, so to speak. It's Wood Warrington on DAZN Saturday afternoon. This is going to be an amazing fight. I don't think it goes the distance. I think it's going to be all action. They're going to go toe-to-toe, stand in the pocket. 126 pounds. These guys don't know how to produce boring fights, and I think this one will not be a boring one. It is worth going out of your way to watch it on Saturday afternoon. Go to BetMGM, King of Sportsbooks, Helwani. First-time user, we hook you up. Parlays, we boost them. That's how we like to do it. You know how we like to do it. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy the weekend. I'll talk to you next weekend.